like everything about this video. Well, this family came walking by. I could see them, you know, of course, notice my cart. And they stood off to the side for a while and conversed. And I could see the mother encouraging her son to come over and talk to me. And he did. And this is an excellent conversation. This young man has got a lot going for him. He's got a lot of passion. He's very smart. And given the right information, he's going to do all right. He's going to be all right. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this one. It's, as I said, I don't find any fault with this at all. If all my conversations were like this out there, I wouldn't have any problems at all. But this is what I went out there for. This is why I'm out there, is to go ahead and communicate in this manner. Enjoy.
Both of them? Hillary and Trump?
Well, I mock them as they deserve to be mocked. You know, I'm not married to either one of them or anybody.
Okay.
I mean, I'm wondering why now with instant communication we even need the idiots. I mean, why we should be more self-governing now than ever before. So, you know, we can represent ourselves, but of course we're a far cry from that happening, but we still got to count on the system as it is. But there was a move to destroy this country and build a one world government, and the only way they could do that was to destroy this country. And that globalization would have happened with her. She was definitely on that road. And Trump wasn't supposed to be there. He didn't have to run. He was a billionaire. He didn't belong to any of the secret societies. He didn't go to the Bilderberg Group. He didn't go to Bohemia Grove. He didn't graduate from Skull and Bones. He does none of that. So he was a wild card. They weren't expecting him. So what does that mean? It means he wasn't them. Is that good? I don't know. Eventually. Nope. You can get him online.
I have a question for you, though. So you say Hillary has a globalization agenda, which is definitely true. America's been in globalization for a while now, ever since World War II, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
But are you saying Eisenhower and Roosevelt are wrong? Because they're one of our greatest presidents in the nation.
Well, Eisenhower did warn us in his farewell address about the military and industrial complex and the technological elite from gaining unwarranted power. That's his farewell address. Kennedy warned us about it in his address. His speech got Kennedy killed just 10 days before they blew his head off. You want to listen to the speech. It's an excellent speech where he names the shadow government. He calls them. He says there is a shadow government that's bigger than all other governments that runs things behind the scenes. They have their own army, their own sense of justice, which they never get held accountable for. Their deeds are not known to the public and all this. And 10 days later, they blew his head off for saying that. So these are the deep state, which is now in the lexicon, you know, because we're hearing it all the time. I'm looking at not only who your friends are, but who are your enemies. Well, a lot of the enemies of Donald Trump were my enemies. They're the same mega conglomerates, the same globalists, the bankers, the pharmaceutical companies, which he's not going after, the pedophile rings, which he's busting. So he's busting up a lot of the apparatus from the deep state. He got rid of the TPP right off the bat. That's one of the economic mechanisms they were using to solidify their one world government. He's basically eviscerated the incomplete climate warming hoax, which they needed to go ahead and give a one world tax on.
Let me ask you a question about Trump. So he has towers in over 5 cities in the whole nation. He has a tower in Saudi Arabia. He has deals with them in oil with the Arabs who, Saudi Arabia, they're our enemies, to be honest. They supply ISIS, terrorists. Also, Trump, if you think about it, you talk about how they wanted to make a one they're not two parties, just one party. But if you look at Trump's administration, he's firing everyone who doesn't agree with him. Doesn't that seem kind of like a one party?
No, I think that just
15 people in his administration simply because they don't agree with his policies. He hasn't even given them a chance.
The system is so corrupt that it is nearly impossible to put people in your circle.
Would you say Trump is a globalist himself?
No.
He has multiple enterprises all around the world.
That doesn't make him a globalist.
He's capitalizing on many enterprises around the world. That's a form of globalization.
It's a form of capitalization too, but
globalization and capitalization.
I'm reading about that in this book right here, which I highly recommend.
Secret Empire.
Yeah, where it shows how our politicians benefit from their political status in businesses worldwide and countries where are basically our enemies: China, North Korea.
Right, but he's in bed with the Russians, and the Russians have been our enemies since.
In bed how? How's he in bed with the Russians?
Well, there's no evidence of Russia collusion. I know a lot of people are like, he's colluding with Russia, but there's definitely evidence of obstruction of justice.
What obstruction of justice?
Well, don't you kind of find it fishy that immediately after he was being investigated by the FBI for colluding with Russia, he fired the FBI director?
Well, you just contradicted yourself.
How so?
You just said that there's no evidence of Russian collusion.
But obstruction of justice, that's what I was saying.
But then there's no obstruction of justice. If there's no crime, there's no obstruction.
Let me give you an example. Say you're being investigated, right? By someone, and
there has to be a reason.
You fire them. If you were innocent, you wouldn't. Why is he always saying, "I'm innocent"?
Can I give you this? And you can see this tomorrow. You can see this on my YouTube channel.
What's your channel? I watch a lot of YouTube.
It's on the back of this get-out-of-jail-free card from Hillary Clinton. Yesterday, I spoke to a gentleman, 32 years, recently retired FBI. 32 years, senior FBI. Rank and file guy, though. Never got to the top levels, right? And actually, I was going, hey, there's a lot going on in the FBI right now. Could you possibly clarify some things for me or give me your take on how the rank and file guys feel and what's going on? And what he expressed is pretty much what a lot of people already suspected or knew, but it was nice to hear qualified. The departments have been politicized. At the top levels, they've been politicized. So you're going to get this revolving door, like you can get them going from, they don't get them from the rank and file anymore. You get them from political appointees that wind up being at the head of these departments. Comey has long been compromised. McCabe has long been compromised. Strzok has long been compromised.
What do you feel about top Republicans calling Trump out, though? Like Lindsey Graham.
Limp wrist Graham. Understand that the corruption spans both parties.
Of course.
And so, we call them rhinos, of course, Republicans in name only.
Trump himself is a rhino because back in the 90s, he even said himself if he would run as a Democrat and that his
that statement was a complete hoax and a lie. He never said that.
He never said that. So he never said that Oprah Winfrey would be his VP. He never said that on national television.
He might have said that, but
he said he'd run as a Democrat. He said he'd run as a Democrat and that Oprah Winfrey would be his VP.
Yeah, okay. Well, they might have said that, but now that we know that Oprah Winfrey is basically Weinstein's pump.
And he doesn't care about our country at all.
Well, if he's selfish, why did he do it?
Because it's about him.
Well, how is it about him? He's not taking a salary. They're sending poison to his family. Why would you put your family in jeopardy and have poison sent to him?
You have proof that our president
they went to the hospital.
And he got checked up. And he had a clean record. The doctor cleared him out. Where are you getting the information that he was poisoned? That would be in national news right now. If our president of the United States was poisoned,
not him, his family. They sent poison to his family.
If his family was poisoned, don't you think that would be a national news?
It was national news.
Where?
Look it up. Look it up right now on your phone.
Show me.
Trump's son sent poison in his wife.
Trump Jr.
Yes.
Do you know that Trump Jr.'s wife's currently divorcing him right now?
That's the one that they sent poison to, yes.
So Trump Jr.'s wife poisoned him?
No. They were sent poison in the
in a
mail.
package. Yeah, it turned up to be nothing, though. It was a mysterious package. It turned up to be baking soda.
But again, why would you put your family in harm's way for your own benefit? You see, you're not. Why would you do this? Why? The man didn't have. He wasn't called a racist before he started to run. He wasn't called any of these things. The man got the Jesse Jackson Award for hiring the most blacks in his companies.
Well, I mean,
he got recognized by the UN for being.
But he said a lot of controversial things. But I think the drawing point when people started calling him a racist was when.
Let me ask you this: where else would you go? Who would you vote for? What would you?
Of course, like America is the best country. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
Well, who would you support? Who would you support?
Honestly, I'm a little bit conservative, but Trump is not the right conservative for our country. You know why? Because he doesn't know policy.
He seems to be doing okay. The economy's doing great. We're talking peace with Vietnam, with North Korea. I mean,
you really think Kim Jong-un trusts us, dude?
I didn't say trust. I did not say trust. I said it's better than lobbing missiles and insults at one another. We got him involved in the Olympics. He's been firing
more missiles than George Bush and Obama combined. You know that, right?
At ISIS, he's defeated ISIS.
ISIS is not defeated whatsoever.
They're certainly cutting too.
He's been fighting them for 17 years. These fucking cavemen and beating our ass for 17 years.
Well, who funds them? Who started it to begin with?
The fucking America. You realize that we all, we fund the whole thing. It's all...
I guess, I know what. So, I know what, again, the military industrial complex.
Do you think that Trump is a good president right now for America?
Yes.
How so? His policies, when it comes to foreign policy, national security, he just fired his national security advisor.
So?
He just fired his communications director.
So?
Everyone in his office.
So? So you use a person. You use them for the length and the time that you want to use them for. Then you bring someone else to do something else. He brought Cohen in. He had brought Cohen in to go ahead and bring in the tax cuts. Fine. But Cohen's a globalist. He even called Cohen a globalist on national TV to his face.
It's all propaganda, dude. Like, you realize, like, when he's saying these things, he's just getting into, like, to his
then why does he have the enemies he has? Why indeed is not only the entire media against him, why is it his own?
Oh, you're an InfoWars supporter. I see now. I see. It makes sense.
Why? What does that do?
You like Alex Jones?
I've been a guest on a show.
Ben Shapiro?
Yeah.
True. I mean, Alex Jones is a little too freaking far right for me, but Ben Shapiro, some of his things. But you have to think about the quality. Like, is he a presidential president? Does he act like a man?
Look, yes. And I don't.
He goes in tweets like,
"Who cares?" I love his tweets. Talk to me directly.
Right, but
what does it matter?
Would Eisenhower, would the great president of the United States ever hop on Twitter? Or
we didn't have it back then. Maybe they would.
Would they send a letter and be like, I'm
not caring about where's president acting presidential got us, but the mess we're in.
Our allies, Europe, France, Germany, they've called us out. They're like, come on, Trump, pick up the slack. You're acting like a little girl. I think he needs to go.
I think they're all bowing down to him. Look what China did. They rolled out the red carpet for him.
And he's still talking shit about Hillary. If you were to beat
She should be in jail.
Okay, fine. Yeah, uranium won. I give you that. But if you were to beat someone in a basketball soccer match, right? 2.5 years later, are you still gonna be like, yo, like, I beat you and you suck, and I beat you but you suck?
She's still out there crying.
Hillary's irrelevant. She's not doing anything. She disappeared, which I don't like her for that, because she was a coward. When she lost, she ran away. She hasn't made any
statements. Still got her nose out there. Still doing it, and she should be in jail.
The Democrats have low-key been silent. Nancy Pelosi said a few things, but for the most part, the Democrats have been silent. Hillary hasn't said a thing since she's lost.
I don't think so. I would find issue with that. They scream the loudest, if anything else. I mean, that's all they got left is just a scream.
Yeah, you guys rule with logic, and then Democrats rule with emotion. I understand. But what logic is using? You know about the steel tax, right, and the aluminum. Why is Trump trying to tax our allies 15% for steel and aluminum? Great Britain.
Because we've been getting screwed by them for a long time. I'm just reading in here how the deals that were made to go ahead and benefit China over us, that the Obama administration gave and the Clinton State Department signed off for.
Sign that says misogynist for Hillary. Look. Yeah. Great Britain, World War I, II, Vietnam, Korea.
So we should give them benefits over us? That we should allow them to screw us?
China's been taxing us.
So we should allow them to screw us?
Why is he taxing
He is. That's what he's laying on right now.
Why is he taxing our allies, though? You should watch world politics.
Because they screw us, too. Just because they're our allies doesn't mean we're not getting screwed by them. The trade deals that were made to eviscerate this country. They have to bring down the United States in order to form one world government. They cannot have a strong national state.
In the freaking world, like, we're never going to be brought down. You know that for a fact.
How the hell we can't?
We have the greatest military on earth.
It doesn't mean crap to it.
Taxes go to the military. We're the fucking best.
That doesn't mean
there's not going to be a one system. But Trump
doesn't mean anything. They could bring this country down tomorrow economically.
You're paranoid, dude. Believe in our military, man. We're fine.
Well, here's the deal. When I'm speaking to you, and I really appreciate your questioning and your arguments and everything that you're bringing out. But forgive me for pulling rank here. When I'm speaking to professors out here, when I'm speaking to FBI agents out here, 2 days ago when I spoke to a lieutenant colonel out here, and they're talking to me candidly and opening up to me, giving me inside things of what's going on, I'm going to take what they say with more credibility and gravitas. Of course, I'm going to, always be a little skeptical, check it out if something doesn't sound right. But when I hear it from inside guys, that's what I love about being out here, because I get to speak to Will's walking up to me, he's going to say anything, right? It's like talk radio without the walls. So having this opportunity, and I would suggest if you really want to try something like this. I mean, really, put on a costume, hit the streets, and do it.
Well, no, I want to go to political science for a
Oh, terrific. You'd be good at it. But to really get out here and speak to people that they're in the grind. They know what they're on. They're the boots on the ground guys. And get firsthand information from them. That's where I get my opinions from, other than the books I read, which I'll also take with a grain of salt. But it is mostly from the opinions I get from the people from the inside here. I highly recommend going and looking at my YouTube channel and seeing some of these conversations and judge for yourself. Are these people full of crap? Are they being sincere? It's like yesterday when I spoke to that FBI agent. Just by the tone of his voice and the way, you could tell that this guy was really trying to, I was like a confessional to him. He's really coming out trying to say, look, this is the way it is. And this is how we feel in there. This is what's going on. And he really eviscerated McCabe and Comey. He said, these guys ought to be in jail. They destroyed the entire FBI with what they're doing. This is the guys in the lower class, we're all getting, this is shining on us and we don't like it. So, here's something like that from a guy that spent his entire life protecting us. Because this guy was close to tears. He really was. So that's where I get a lot of my opinions from and a lot of what I'm hearing. I'm talking to actually 4 of Trump's personal bodyguards out here. Last 2 guys I spoke to, I said, what do you guys do for a living? We'll show you. They start showing me pictures of them with Trump on Air Force One and the Oval Office playing golf, restaurants, you name it, everywhere. Well, who the hell are you guys? We're a special detail presidential protection. We've been doing this for a long time. They also did the Clintons. So I said, what's the difference between protecting the Clintons and Trump? And he says, the Clintons at best tolerated us. The first day, Trump came out talked to every one of us individually, found out, asked us each all, is there any problems you got in your family? Because I want you to be taken care of. I want to know if I can do anything to do to help to straighten out your life where you can concentrate on your job. I want to be able to do that. I'm talking to over 24 people that work directly with him. Have worked either in policy, have built. I talked to the guy put his first pipes in his first building. Little old ladies that he sat next to at the casino and talked to, and then he'd give a free Taj Mahal stay to. You know. Every single person I've talked to that has had personal dealings with this man came away with the same thing. He's the real deal. He cares. He listens. So I gotta go. You know, I gotta take that with a grain. You know, I gotta say that's gotta mean something. You know. The people that have something bad to say about him, it always turns out it's like secondhand. My brother-in-law got screwed by him or something like that, you know. So that's what I'm going by. You know.
It was a good talk, man.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Thank you, young man. Yeah, it's a pleasure. You're doing a great job here. God bless you.
Thank you so much. We're going to check out the book on your YouTube channel.
Okay, thank you very much. God bless.